technology to build a movement that's beyond just entertainment, right? Because a lot of technology we see is utilized for entertainment. But with entertainment, we also want to do edutainment, right? Like educate people while we're simultaneously being entertained to move us forward, not distracting us with just mindless stuff. But how do we use these tools to really be able to create systems of equity and justice and empowerment for everybody?
Definitely.
So how can people reach out to you if they're interested in being able to, check you out, your business, your organization, your website?
You guys can check me out on LinkedIn. My name is Justin Gonsalves. Our website is digitweb.solutions. There's tons of information about, our company, our services that we provide. There's a ton of FAQs. There's a whole contact us form that you can fill out as well. There's also, if you're interested in applying for some jobs, we have some openings as well. You can go to our careers tab and then apply for some of those jobs too. So.
Outstanding.
Oh, I know you had job openings. It's funny because when I met Justin and my web page was like a wreck. And he told me that. He called me. He said, Miss Priscilla, your website is a mess.
Respectfully.
And I said, I know. That's why I need a new web designer, because the woman that was doing it, they say you pay for what you get.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for, yeah. And it wasn't a lot, and I think she was kind of new, but it was horrible. But
wow.
I mean, it did get me through my first year,
yeah.
And then I'm thankful for Justin, all his
Thank you, I
ideas
appreciate that.
and suggestions and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And it took him some time to fix it too. It was a mess. I mean, it was like. It's just like a brand new website, and as we continue to add more things to it, I know it's gonna get better and better. So
that's incredible. Well, it's important to be able to have, like you said, so this audit and this assessment, hearing what you're saying, it's a testimony that it was practical, right? It was, like he said, respectfully, but it's whack, it's jacked up. You gotta do something like, not sugarcoating and not trying to be nice. No, you need to fix this, right? That honest assessment.
That's right. And
right.
I knew it wasn't all good because I would call and ask to have something done, and I looked the next week and it still wasn't done, and I'd be like, because when you're posting your stuff, you want your stuff posted. I have someone that did my video. I'm not gonna call him out now, but I'm literally, like, Justin tried to help me, and I don't have any of my pictures or film from my graduation. From when that we did in May, and so I'm just like really
upset.
I'm not happy about that. I'm trying to be nice and
but come on,
but
that was in May, right?
Yeah, May 19th, and I still don't have any pictures on my website from that because I don't have it.
Yes, did you want to go on the air?
So,
we gotta call her.
Okay, how can I help you? Yes. Okay. So you have to ring the doorbell and we'll let you in. Keep talking. Okay.
Oh, I must be one of my students.
One of your students.
I know. I have a few. I have quite a few this year. I don't know, but it's all good. So yeah, Justin has even agreed to like volunteer with us sometime, and maybe. You have a question?
Gotta go back.
Oh,
sorry.
And so maybe he can help us. Maybe he can. My phone sometimes it just picks up what I'm saying. I don't know why it does that.
It's always listening.
Huh?
It's always listening.
Yes, it's like it literally repeats what I says. I mean, it types what I'm talking.
Oh, you probably clicked the button by accident for like text to. We'll talk to text.
I'm always touching something. Let me just turn it on. Oh. See who's coming in.
It's just one of your students.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I was gonna say I also got to, like I said, I got to meet some of the students as well, and we got to have a really nice discussion on I believe it was Tuesday, and they're great kids.
That's the
great
day.
Kids.
Yeah.
Great kids.
Yeah, they're young and I feel like they want to learn, you know.
I could
It's
tell.
just very curious, you know.
Mhm.
And there's so much they it seems like they're able to soak up so much more, you know,
Yeah.
even though they're on their phones a lot and technology and all that. I mean, you see them, they all got their heads down, you know. So, but they're learning. They, you know, they hang with me, you know. When we leave here, we're going down to the nonprofit center where we're going to be doing training because we're in partnership with Mass Voter Tables. So they give you all this training on how to, you know, do phone banking, do canvassing,
Nice.
you know, getting people to pledge to vote and things like that, you know. So
You know, it's something that we need to definitely connect with Minister Flint because, you know, the civic engagement piece is something that Healing Our Land is really committed to, and particularly for those who are behind the wall. In fact, we're kicking off our campaign tonight to go into the Nashua County Jail, the Suffolk County House of Correction, around this election, right? Civic engagement, education. But our thing is to always really, again, have youth and young adult who are in the forefront of this. So I'd love to see how we can partner and collaborate to be able to have your students, particularly from Marcus Anthony Hall
Educational Institute.
Educational Institute. I know it has a focus on civics, though, right?
Right, that's basically what it is. It's basically civics, learning about voter registration, voter education, voter mobilization. But we also teach them about organizing, how to advocate for themselves. We take them to hearings, protests. We introduce them to elected officials. And so it's all about empowering our people to have a voice. Actually, we were at a meeting last night at 12th Baptist Church about Eddie Crispin, the
Deputy Superintendent.
Deputy Superintendent, who was demoted because he was appointed by the Attorney General to the post. And the post is, I can't remember the acronyms, but it has something to do with police accountability.
That's right.
And so it's they had a meeting yesterday.
Yes.
They're having one Saturday at 12 o'clock at Mamleo.
Okay.
It just seems like it's, you know, for some reason, this man has been in service for 25 years on the police force. And really, it's, I don't understand this administration. I'm sorry, I just don't. The things that they do, you know, why wouldn't you want someone from the command staff on? You know, it's like the police don't want to be held accountable. You know, there were a lot of people from Mamleo there. You know, and we kind of like sat at round tables and we talked about, do we think that Eddie should be reinstated? I mean, they demoted him, took $40,000 of his salary because he was appointed to this, and so that's why I'm kind of confused, because the Attorney General, she appoints somebody, you know, why would the commissioner demote you? You know, you know, so that's what we're trying. I guess that's what the story is, you know. And the mayor is standing by him, which, you know, my story about that, but you know, I won't talk too much about her today. But yeah, it's just we feel like it's wrong. There were a lot of people there. You know, there was it was packed down in the basement, but a lot of people had a lot of good things to say.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm happy that Pastor Wall was there to cover it for Boston Black News. It was my desire to be there, but I could not physically be there. But I'm grateful that Boston Praise was there.
I know. I was surprised to see Pastor, because I ain't seen him out in a minute.
Well, praise God that he had the strength and the capacity to be able to be there to represent. So the good news is that it was recorded and it was aired, because we can't always make every meeting.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, the truth of the matter is, you might want to, but life happens.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful, one, that he was able to be there and to represent and to be able to stream the entire event unedited. And no other media did that. Right. So it's there for us to digest, even in its recorded state.
Is it on the website yet? Has he edited it yet? Or
he has edited it and put it on his Facebook page.
On his okay.
So the community can go to Pastor Bruce Wall's Facebook page and actually see this. It did also air on Boston Praise Radio and TV networks. You can go to our main webpage, www.bostonpraiseradio.tv, and scroll over to the right hand side, and you can click to be able to see previously recorded broadcasts. Okay. So I encourage everybody to definitely see that, because it gives you context of education of what transpired and where we are. And we've been talking about this a little bit on the Saturday broadcast, but the mainly broadcast obviously with the Tete Bellison, because he was the person who held that seat on the state level before, and this is a permanent seat of Mamleo on this commission, and he was on it before he retired, so he removed himself, and then they appointed Eddie Crispin in his place on that. And so they've been talking about this, and the thing that the commissioner is saying that's troubling directly to, here's a black man being the commissioner who's saying to another black man being Eddie Crispin, right, a Haitian black man at that, right, who said he's black before he's blue, right, said to him that you cannot serve two masters, that it's a conflict of interest, because the city and state, right, the state obviously oversees the city, right, and so the state accountability for the entire state of Massachusetts, he's saying that that's a conflict of interest, you having that kind of oversight and also being a part of his command staff, if you will, as a deputy superintendent. And so it shouldn't be a conflict of interest.
How could it, I don't understand how it is a conflict of interest. I mean, if it's a serious case, he would just, I mean, if it's a case directly involved, when he knows
himself.
Yeah,
he would.
And that happens all the time.
All the time.
People recruit themselves from different things.
All the time.
And so I just don't, to me, it just seems like he's just after him for some reason.
I mean, listen, here's a parallel. Here's a parallel, right? Because if you remember, our governor, Maura Healey, was in a situation not too long ago where she was challenged because she actually recommended a person whom she formerly had a relationship with to be a judge, right? She recommended them, and they pushed back and said, "You can't recommend." She actually recommended. Never mind, accuse herself. She recommended this person for this position.
But they approved her, didn't they?
Well, because they pushed back, and it was the governor's council who ultimately had the power to be able to say no. That you can that we're going to go ahead and accept her person who she recommended, so they could override the fact that there was pushback from people saying you can't do that because it's a conflict of interest, because you
now that's a conflict.
Now that to me is a conflict of interest. Yes. But my point is, here's the parallel of a white person in position of power who was able to get past that. Yeah. Right. Even though this focus was saying it's a conflict of interest, and it was.
That was definitely conflict.
But the governor's council was able to be able, the entity in position was able to say that they make the final decision.
Exactly.
And it's okay for her to go ahead and appoint this person. So do you see the stark contrast? Here we're talking about the governor, right, of the state of Massachusetts, a white woman. Now you get a black commissioner, right? First of all, an attorney general who appointed him and said that there is no conflict of interest. Exactly. She's the number one legal person for the state. And said there is no conflict of interest. But that's why we're having all this pushback, because they still cannot respond to how is it in fact a conflict of interest, and why should he be demoted? Because and if they can push past this kind of stuff, this is the kind of stuff that they'll continue to push past, because we as community are not coming together and saying, wait a minute. And because she appointed the commissioner, being Commissioner Cox, he's obviously loyal to her. Whenever a person appoints you, 9 times out of 10, you're loyal to the person who appointed you, as opposed to maybe people who elected you.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I was appointed to the Boston Employment Commission.
Yep.
And I ain't to nobody but.
You're not loyal, right?
I am not loyal to Mayor Wu. Okay. See? I don't need to be on the Beck Commission, but I am on there, and I'm not loyal to her because I see the work that she does, and I'm not happy with her. And I have told her that in person, in her face, some of the things that she does that the community just don't like.
And it's beautiful.
But she doesn't listen.
Well, see, but there are a few people who have that kind of integrity and character, right? Who are appointed to a position, and their appointment to that position doesn't buy them silence
Right.
or loyalty to the person who appointed you. That's rare.
Very rare.
People who are like yourself, who are like, I'll take the appointment, thank you very much, but that doesn't mute my voice.
That's right.
And make me loyal to you,
That's
just so
right.
you know, you don't own me. I appreciate you doing that, but it doesn't mute my voice. And there are a few people who have that level of integrity and character to be able to do that. So that's powerful. In that same vein, last night, the meeting that was happening at 12th Baptist, we understand Evangelist Covello, who's been appointed by the mayor to be able to oversee that. And again, giving him benefit of the doubt, right? Because he was there, right? Now, is he going to be loyal to the community, or is he going to be loyal to the person who appointed him? We'll see.
That's the problem with politics. That's exactly what they are, because it doesn't make any sense. Here you have, there's not a lot of high command people anyway in the Boston Police Department, right?
That's right.
And so when we have someone that has integrity and dignity and is gonna say, no, I'm not gonna back down from this, and then he gets demoted. Really, that's just.
That's what happens right here. The truth is, when you're a person, and again, thank God for Eddie Chris for being a person of character and integrity, because he could have said, okay, when you're telling me I got to serve two masters, I'm going to do what's in my best interest, because it was a $40,000 pay cut, right?
That's a
lot. I will not. I'm going to go ahead and take this and play the game, right, so that I can be in the good graces. But he was willing to be a person of integrity and character and say, I'll take the appointment and let the community respond to be able to the notion of this being unfair and unrighteous, and hopefully we'll stick with it, and we'll be able to support him so that people can understand that just because you appointed someone, being the commissioner, right, that we elected you.
Exactly.
Right? So that's where these appointments and these elections come into play. Right, so you can elect someone who then can appoint someone, but if we're electing you and you're not doing what we elected you to do,
we need to unelect
you, get somebody else in that position that's going to do what it is that we put you in that position, because we put you there to represent us.
That's right, and I truly believe that when people first go into office, I believe they go in there with a mind to serve. But then they get in there and they get caught up, And then the thing about it is, you have people that have been there for years and they continue to be there and they continue to get what they want done. But as we look at the city council now, mostly all the city councilors are fairly new. They haven't been on the council that long, but at least some showed up. And I'm gonna tell you who showed up. Julia Mejia was there. She always shows up. Brian Warrell was there. Ed Flynn was there, and Rootsy came in almost when it was over, but she was there.
Okay.
Liz Miranda came when it was over. Okay. And so my thing is, and I know, it's election year for them, even though you would not know it, because I haven't seen the sign or anything, we only know because it's an even year, that it's a state election. And then with the president election, it's just like, it's crazy. That's why we're out here. We got to get our folks out to vote, and I have said this before, that we need to, one of our problems about us not voting is getting to the polls. And I really believe that these churches, and I have said this before numerous times, need some of these churches that have vans that don't move except for on Sunday or during the week. They should donate, or maybe we can get some funding to get gas for them to take our people to the polls. And they also, the Age Strong Commission, the Elderly Commission, they have vans that they can take people to the polls. It's a matter of us collaborating, making something happen. There's other people that have vans and stuff, Maybe we can partner with them, but we have to get our people to the polls this year. Really, it's serious, imagine if we get 4 more years of Trump, but then at the same time, Biden, he got issues too. So what are we gonna do, right? But what I'm trying to do is train up young folks so that they will get involved in the political. A lot of people don't like politics, but it's here. There's nothing we can do. Everything we do revolves around politics, unfortunately.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of people my age as well are just very uneducated about politics, and it's mostly just because of a lot of things that, like, you know, they're seeing on social media. Like, there's so much propaganda that's pushed sometimes through like social media. It really makes it hard to like verify what is credible, what's actually true, and what's not. So there's definitely a lot of contrast between like some of the few different generations.
Right. Definitely.
Mine, so.
Definitely. So that's why Marcus Anthony was birthed. But I say I have another student came in, Ario. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
That's good to see you again.
You too.
This is a graduate of Marcus Anthony Hall Education.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Did she have a question or no? She wasn't prepared for a question.
No, she wasn't there. So,
Okay.
Tuesday.
Well, good to see you.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah. So we had some more people. I guess.
Oh,
I
you got
don't know
more
what-
was supposed to come?
Yeah, but I don't know what happened.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a lot here.
Summer school.
Oh.
They'll be here probably one. Yeah, one. They're ending their last day of summer school today.
Last day of summer school today.
Apparently.
Cause they go to
It's the middle of July.
They go to Randolph, so it might be different.
Who are you talking about? The young ladies that started yesterday.
Jalea and her daughter, Aisha.
Aisha. Okay. Well, I hope they got the information because we're not gonna be here at 1.
They'll probably text someone.
Huh?
They'll probably text someone.
I think Naya would text them.
Yeah, she
All
made
right.
it in the GC.
Huh?
She texted him in the GC.
Okay. In the chat, which The
Okay.
chat, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
They got all these different
Ways of
chats.
communicating.
Yeah, I mean, I like the phone text.
Yeah.
I that's to me is easy. But they got Slack. They got all these other things that they charge you for everything you do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I'm curious in the context of again, of entrepreneurs and young people and technology, right? Because things like AI, like I'm really curious to hear you guys' perspective.
I love AI.
Yeah?
I love AI. Yeah.
Why?
I use AI almost on a daily basis. It definitely, so say for the context of probably ChatGPT, that's like something that everyone has heard of. That's one of the most mainstream forms of AI. That has streamlined a lot of my research. It's streamlined a lot of, you know, work that I'm about to do. It's helped me organize things. It's helped me learn a lot of things. Like sometimes when I have questions, I don't even go to Google. I go to ChatGPT because it's so powerful and it's like a tool that can read and paraphrase millions of web pages within milliseconds.
Wow.
You can ask it to tell you about, I don't know, literally anything. Tell me about the Boston Praise Radio. It'll give you 1,000 characters, just paraphrasing, you know, some of your old broadcasts, more information about you guys, and it parses all these different web pages, like literally infinite web pages from the beginning of time. And it just
So in that context, right? I don't know who owns or who was the innovator of AI, or if there is a person, right? But you think about, you know, so this incredible tool that people are now using, like AI is a new kind of iteration right now, right? So there's Meta and then AI and like these different things. So with that said, but we don't, as Black entrepreneurs who own these platforms, right? Even like X and a lot of these platforms are not owned by us. So I'm just curious, you know, as we got young people, and we're talking about being entrepreneurs, we're talking about young Black folks even and doing anything that they want, being able to have a mindset. It's one thing to use these wonderful platforms that all of them are so fluent with using, but how about shifting the conversation to us creating
Right.
the platforms that we're on
right.
to monetize, not just being consumers, but being people who can actually control and make money off of these technological tools and platforms that we're all utilizing.
Yeah. Well, to begin with that, I would say that first AI, you know, artificial intelligence in general is just a huge umbrella term for just pre-generative coded, I guess, robots, to make it simplified. So there's so many different types of AI. There's AI that, again, GPT stands for, I forget what it stands for, but it's like a pre-programmed chatbot, basically. So you can talk to it. It spits out responses for you. It is able to look up different things. But there's AI for video creation. There's AI for note taking. Like some of my Zoom meetings, there's actually an AI that I've incorporated recently. It's called Otter AI.
I have Auto AI.
Yeah, it transcribes your
Yeah.
meetings. It gives you detailed notes, a transcript, or even like a summary of what's going on. So after you have a business meeting, you can look at those notes, and that way, you can actually give your full attention. So say I'm in a meeting with Ms. Priscilla, I can give her my full attention, and then not have to worry about taking notes and stuff like that. I can come back afterwards, read the transcript, and everything is there. There's AI for bookkeeping. There's AI for honestly, quite literally anything. And when it comes down to like you said, being a producer instead of just a consumer, that's where it gets a little bit tricky with AI specifically, because I feel like you have to actually know a lot of software engineering, a lot of coding, a lot of development to be able to actually get into the position where, like, hey, you can innovate something with technology. And I feel like not enough kids today are getting into STEM and a lot of these tech fields that are going to be the future, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And these incredibly high paying jobs, whether it's like I said in tech or cybersecurity, all these different fields that have such potential for growth and really will be a catalyst for change in the world in the coming future. So there's a lot that you can do to get into it, but it will take a lot of education. And that's something that I would encourage a lot of kids to get into.
But I think it's important that you're even articulating that, right? Because, this is the first time I'm actually hearing like what it takes,
Yeah.
right, to
Yeah,
be
it's a
able
lot.
to start to explore,
It's a lot.
getting the education, positioning oneself like STEM and getting these kinds of education that you're in a position to participate in the innovation
Mhm.
and the development side of it. Like I'd love to hear more conversation,
Yeah.
particularly with our young people, that's very practical
Mhm.
about helping them to give them some direction,
Yeah.
and being able to position themselves to, particularly our young black folks, to take control of this.
And one thing I wish that was, pushed more in our youth today is, again, like I said, STEM, because in high school you're not really going to learn much about like software engineering or development and stuff like that. A lot of those things that you're going to learn are going to be on your own, unfortunately, or in college. And a lot of people nowadays, this is not like a knock or anything against it, but a lot of people are choosing to not go on the college route as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it is kind of hard to get that knowledge generally, especially if you're a younger kid and AI or technology in general is something that's really cool to you. You're going to have to do research on your own a lot of times, because that's really not something you're going to learn in high school. That's really not something you're going to be taught about, or something that's even going to be talked about much, like in your regular classes. And for me, like I said, with web development, that's something I never even would have thought was a possibility, unless if it was for that one class that I took, when I was like 13 or 14 that my mom had put me in. I wouldn't even have known what HTML was. I wouldn't even have known like how websites were actually made at the time. And then it wasn't until, like I said, a few years later where I was like thinking about that experience, and I was like, hey, that was kind of fun. And I was seeing people online making websites and selling them for like $1,000, $2,000. I was like, wait, I can kind of monetize that. And luckily I already had that little introduction to it. But there's not everyone's gonna have that same opportunity. Not everyone's gonna be in the same position where they have little background knowledge, or they have the time and actual ability to explore those resources on their own. So
Makes sense.
Yeah.
it's
I
a
would love
tricky situation.
for a black entrepreneur to create our own Facebook or our own
Instagram, all
There's
these
been a few that
things.
have tried, but honestly, they've failed. I forget. I'm trying to remember what there was one of them. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up and come back to you guys afterwards. But there was one where I remember like everyone was going crazy about it, like on Twitter for a few months. It's like this new black social media platform, and it just flopped after a few months because Instagram and Meta and Facebook and Twitter, like they have such a monopoly, honestly, on social media. It's like everyone uses them.
Yeah.
So it's like it was very hard to get a huge demographic and a huge population to just shift to a brand new one.
Yeah.
And it's silly to like even like discuss that, because it's just social media at the end of the day. But my generation, stuff like that, we're so consumed by it. Honestly, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's changed the world.
It has. It definitely has. It's
Changed
just
the world.
like, if you don't, like people, if you don't have a email, you don't have a cell phone,
Right.
Literally.
I mean, you just literally you're helpless.
You are.
I misplaced my phone the other day, right? I couldn't find my phone. I was like, where is my phone? I could not find my phone. And so, but I just happened to have another phone that I was able to call certain people, But then I got in my car. My phone was in the car. I had left it in the car overnight, and I thought sure I had talked to somebody. I did talk to somebody, but it was in my car, and I was just like, oh my goodness, so it was too many things. But yeah, you're like, I can't leave out the house without my phone.
Sure.
Because
No,
everything's
honestly, yeah.
everything's
Connected.
on there. Yeah, you know, it's just like even when you like messages, they stay on there forever. You know, it's like they don't go away. I don't even know how all that could fit into, all that technology could even fit into. But that's where we're at now, you know? That's where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it's funny that you say that too, because technology and like phones and computers and all that stuff obviously was created with the intention of, you know, making people's lives easier.
Yeah.
Making people's lives more efficient. And I feel like it's definitely done that in a lot of ways, but it's also done some irreversible,
Yeah.
you know, damage to our society and to our minds in general. So
Yeah.
it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. I know some people who don't have a Facebook page. Never had a Facebook page. You know, of course they're closer to my age, right? But
I know nowadays, like some of my age says that they look at you crazy, like, what? You're not on Instagram, you're not
right.
on Snapchat?
Yeah,
Right,
but you
what's-
know
How am I
what?
supposed to talk to you? It's
Exactly.
like, dude, in real life, like,
Exactly.
face to face.
That's why I'd rather talk. I'd rather talk than text. You know, I mean, I do text a lot because that's what's going on. But I'd rather hear your voice. I'm just
Old
because
school.
I'm a talker. You know, yeah,
Me
old
too.
school, yeah.
Me too.
But I mean, texts do come in handy sometime. You know, but yeah. What do you guys think about text? Look at them, all on their phone. all of them on their phones. They don't learn from us. They learn from the phones.
I
right?
see. I see.
But sometimes it is good to have the phones, you know. Sometimes it's good to research stuff. And
Yeah, but I'm just curious. What are y'all doing? I'm just curious. What are y'all doing?
On my phone?
Yeah.
They're either on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok. I'm texting someone.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anybody else want to share? I'm just curious.
I mean, I wasn't on my phone.
Okay. Good. All right. He's like, I just got it there with it, right? How about you?
Sheldon?
I was on TikTok.
You too? What was y'all doing?
I was on TikTok too.
TikTok. What are y'all doing on TikTok?
Watching
I
videos.
just be scrolling on our For You page.
Okay. All right.
They have good reviews up there. Like sometimes it can be reuseful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How so?
Like sometimes it can be about history, like about Donald Trump and just like
Yeah.
saying around here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can vouch for that, honestly. I've learned a lot from TikTok as well. And even, hey, if you guys are able to monetize TikTok too, like, have you guys have probably seen so many ads for like TikTok Shop and stuff like that and like
Yeah.
affiliate content. Even with TikTok, there's a lot of ways to make money. Too,
Really?
So it's
Yeah, 'cause,
crazy.
like if you like
It's crazy.
study the TikTok shop and see like what people like to buy, you can put stuff on there for like your own stuff and people
Yeah.
can buy that stuff off you.
Wow. Wow.
It's amazing.
It
right?
is. I'm
I'm
always
ready to retire. I'm just so it's just too much. It's just too much stuff going
they
on.
educate us.
Yeah,
They're really on top of it. So no, I'm all ears. I just want to learn. I'm just like, okay, educate me.
Yeah, yeah. But it is good though. But to see, you know, them interested in
Yeah.
and since COVID, it has changed a lot as well. You know, it really has changed a lot on the way people interact, the way they communicate. You know, I mean, who would have thought that we went through a pandemic, right? Where we couldn't go out the house.
Think about that.
I know we couldn't go out the house for like 2 years. It's insane, you know. But
Yeah, thank God it was.
but we were able to bring
through it.
resources to our community, though, you know, through the Black Boston COVID Coalition. You know, when it first came out, it was really bad. Pastor Hobb,
Yes.
off topic. Did you
Yeah.
get an email from somebody from? I sent you an email with a couple other people on it.
Yes.
They want to do a study.
Yes.
Reach out to them, okay?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. COVID was hard. COVID was really hard, especially for me because I lost my mom during COVID. And
Sorry to hear about that.
thank you. She was in a nursing home. She had been in a nursing home for 4 years, and when COVID hit in 2020, they sent sick patients from Boston Medical to the Edgar Benjamin, and they the the sick patients were there. They didn't at that. I think in the beginning they didn't even have PPEs. They're like the nursing homes and some of the the hospitals and stuff. They didn't even have the proper equipment. So what we found out, there was like 20 people died in that nursing home from COVID, and there was tons more. It was on the website, and it was just a sad time, and it was really. But we fought through it. We made sure that we had testing. They weren't even doing testing in our community, so we had to fight for that. Then they when they brought the when they first started doing the actually vaccine, because we at first we didn't even want to do the vaccine because we were like, wait a minute, remember what happened to the Tuskegee?
Right.
I mean, we were really very
apprehensive.
Yeah,
Understandably so.
We got 2 minutes. Really? Oh my goodness. Yeah, time. It's an hour.
Flies by.
Yeah, especially when you're talking
Right.
and you're interacting and all that.
It goes fast.
So Justin, you're the guest, so you gotta give your information so someone's interested.
Yeah, of course, yeah. My email is justin@digitweb.solutions. Like I said, our website is www.digitweb.solutions. Again, there's more information on there. There's FAQs about our entire process, our company, the different services that we offer, and there's also ways for you guys to get in touch with me and the company in general through there. Like I said,
What's the website again?
digitweb.solutions.
Dot solutions.
Yes, .solutions. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And again, also if you're interested in tech, we have a position open for project manager. We also have a position open for a web developer. So, yeah.
Okay.
Tons of.
He's hiring you. He's hiring.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So this is People Power with Priscilla. We are the people, and we have the power. Next week, hopefully, we'll have more of our young folks with us and the guests. But I wanted to let people know that Saturday at 12 noon, if you're available.